very short chapter in the code. It basically applies to all stakeholders of the code. It applies to the transmission system operator, to the desalinated water producers, to the water distribution system operators, and to the non-seawater plant operators. And in this code, everything around safety coordination, like the documentation of safety procedures. Very important, the appointment of a safety coordinator of each stakeholder is described. And also operational and safety procedures for works, especially at connection points, is highlighted. The code says that safety procedures shall be exchanged between all stakeholders frequently. This is just to improve procedures and to establish a dialogue on this whole topic. And those procedures comprise operations like startup and shutdown of facilities, like the isolation of facilities from the DWTS, like physical works of connection points, and the reconnection of facilities to the DWTS. And any changes of procedures which are made by any stakeholder has to be notified to the other party, to the affected party. If it's a DWP, a producer, he shall notify the transmission system operator.
Why do we call it safety procedure? If it is related to startup, shutdown, isolation.
Because it highlights.
Because the subject is related, anybody is related to the safety.
Yeah.
And also we are dealing with water.
Yeah.
It's not like the gas or liquid fuel or something. Why you select this name safety?
There's a different chapter which deals with startup process separately. Later, you will hear of it. And I think it's because in all of these processes, the water quality has to be ensured that the water quality is of transmitted water quality. And to ensure this, there has to be a specific safety procedure in order to guarantee this.
As he said, there is another section dealing with startup and shutdown, and in order to coordinate activities on both ends, we will hear that later. The safety is a general point for all business. I mean, regardless where, safety of human beings, of workers, in relation to any activities, and especially activities where two parties, different parties are involved at the connection points, is a core point. So in other words, this deals with a general rule which shall be followed in any business, in any industry, protecting workers on any activities in relation to interfaces where somebody can affect another party. Maybe you continue on that procedure and that code, and then we can maybe answer your questions in a better way later.
You change it to user agreement, a procedure that will be supplier and user agreement. A procedure that will be, I think, better. This is a suggestion on if you like it.
Right. Let's run through it, and let's have this discussion maybe later during the Q&A section when we have seen the details of that code.
Yeah, and because it's a general topic, the code highlights that those procedures, let's call it procedures, have to be exchanged between the parties. And therefore also a safety coordinator has to be appointed, and he's responsible for bringing safety coordination procedures into his party and to represent it to other stakeholders. He is responsible of safety coordination process. He should be notified to the DWTSO. He should be the DWTSO has to be aware of each safety coordinators of the stakeholders. And if there's any work to be done at the connection point, any user or the DWTSO, there has to be a special procedure. Maybe that's why it's called safety coordination procedure. In case a user identifies work to be done at the connection point, he shall contact at first the coordinator, the safety coordinator of the DWTS. And either he agrees on the work or not. If he not agrees, then ECRA has to be notified of his disagreement. In the case ECRA agrees on the user's request, the implementation of actions are confirmed, and the user can start with the work he actually planned to do. If not, if ECRA disagrees on the user's request, the measure simply cannot be implemented. And like I said before, documentation is a highlighted topic in the code. The code requests documentation of any operational and safety procedures. Any implementation has to be recorded, and also the communication has to be documented.